And then Dorian, do you want to just confirm that we're gonna, or Dorian or Kathy, just that we're gonna mute everybody until the slides are over. All right, looks like most people that registered are in the room. Thank you so much, everybody. Welcome to the Future Leaders in Motion promotional event. Just a couple housekeeping items quick before we get started. This webinar is going to be recorded. We're going to make this available to you on the FPDA website within the next few weeks. You're going to receive a short survey in the next few days just to help give us some feedback. You know, we certainly appreciate it, hearing from you. We're committed to providing relevant content to you and your companies. We want you to actually be able to use the information we're providing. So we do appreciate that feedback. Are we all good to proceed here?
I think we are.
All right.
If everyone wouldn't mind staying on mute, that would be helpful as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So really excited to be presenting to you all today. Just a couple notes about myself. My name is Bill. I've been working for Force America for about 24 years now. I'm the Director of Business Development, and I have the privilege of serving as the FPDA President this year. I got a degree in electrical engineering, actually, and kind of backed my way into the fluid power industry. And like so many others, you never leave this industry once you find it. It's such a wonderful way to spend a career, so many interesting projects, and I love working on the equipment and talking to the operators and solving customer problems. I know all of you do as well. Currently, as business development, in business development, I do market analysis, forecasting, and help with corporate strategy for our headquarters in Minneapolis. I live in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and it's just a privilege to be virtually meeting with all of you today. So, Future Leaders in Motion, this is why we're here. FPDA member companies as a whole, if you're not real familiar with it, are a collection of large and small distributors and manufacturers of a diverse set of fluid power products. One of the challenges for FPDA leadership, frankly, has been to create quality educational products that can be used by a majority of our members. It's tough because you can't really create sales or product training because every company has a different sales process or a product specialty that's appropriate for them and their customers. Leadership, however, is something that's really universal. The FLM program has been successful and is in high demand because the qualities of a great leader are equally valuable to a large distributor or a small manufacturer. The leadership skills required to lead a large team or a small team are the same. A great leader can inspire a team of engineers designing power units or motivate a sales team to exceed forecasts. The Future Leaders in Motion program has been designed to benefit anyone in a position of leadership. You don't have to have direct reports to benefit from this program. FLM can make you a better communicator, a better teammate, and connect you with a network of other leaders in the fluid power industry that you can lean on throughout your careers. Who should enroll in FLM? Really, anyone who's never received formal leadership training. It's really common that managers and supervisors get promoted because they're the next in line in seniority, or for other reasons that don't include having the best leadership skills, right? The good news is that leadership skills can be learned. As a lifelong Packers fan, I love a good Lombardi quote, and Vince Lombardi famously said that leaders are not born, they're made. And that's totally true. If you're already in a position of leadership, FLM can help you improve. If you aspire to be a leader someday, FLM can help you prepare. FLM can meet you where you are in your career and help you improve as a leader. I've listed a couple positions here that prior FLM participants have come from. Certainly, you might identify with one of these positions. Really, it appeals to anybody across the org chart for FPDA member companies. The Future Leaders in Motion program kind of breaks down like this. It takes place over 13 months and approximately 60 total hours of work. It breaks down to be about 5 hours per month of class work. We have a pre-scheduled schedule, which I'll share with you in a few moments here. At the bookends of the program, at the start and the finish, is the industry summit. So you actually go in person to the industry summit. This fall will be in San Diego at the Los Coronado Bay Resort. And then next fall at location to be determined. And in between there, sandwiched in the middle, is the University of Innovative Distribution, UID. If you haven't heard about it, I'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. But really, it's structured content in between these major events that really creates this 13-month intense learning experience. You're always immersed in these leadership classes, and you're connected with a mentor who's always helping you to apply those lessons learned. And we're going to talk about that as well. But really, it's meant to enhance your natural leadership abilities and help you gain a better understanding of the fluid power industry. Even if you've been in the industry for 20 years, you will learn things about the industry through this program that you hadn't known previously. And you're going to really develop some excellent relationships with your peers. Here's what the program timeline looks like. So again, we talked about the bookends being the industry summit. October 6th through 9th is this year's summit in San Diego. And then you'll notice there's several monthly sessions there until the UID happens in March. And we'll talk about team and individual coaching, leadership and management, brave communications, communication 101. We're talking about executive presentations, talk about teams and teamwork, ethics, financial literacy, and a few other topics. And then finally, you'll graduate next fall at the industry summit in October. So it's really a comprehensive program, a lot of focus and recurring meetings that keeps everything fresh. About mentorship, this might be something that you're not familiar with, but mentorship is a very powerful resource that's included with the FLM program. Since the majority of FPDA member companies have less than 50 employees, and even the larger ones have small branch locations, and you can spend your entire career with a team of 4 or 5 people, and you really don't get a lot of outside perspective when you're in that situation. You can have a rewarding career, but you can find yourself in a bit of a fishbowl. The mentorship program does an excellent job of pairing you up with somebody that helps with that outside perspective. So what we do is we'll take a mentee, somebody who's in the FLM program, pair them with an executive from another company in a non-competing market in a different region of the United States. So let's say you're based in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We might pair you up with somebody in the Northeast United States, somebody who's not competing, but has relevant work experience and can be a guide to you. It's very powerful. I'd like to maybe just bring somebody in off the bench here to talk about the mentorship experience. I'm going to bring in Chris Houston, who's with Livingston and Haven. Chris was actually a part of our inaugural FLM class, and he's sat on both sides of the mentorship table. He's been a mentee and a mentor. Chris, would you like to say a few words about that?
Yeah, of course. First of all, thank you all for taking the time to learn more about the FLM program. This really is a gem of the FPDA, and the mentorship piece of this is very unique. There's a lot of different places that will offer some great leadership content, and we will do the same. But the mentor capability is a really a set apart piece of that. So as Bill mentioned, I was able to have a mentor when I was in the program 2 years ago. And then I was a mentor to a person, actually Keith, who's on the call with us today, this year. And I will say that I received and gave on both sides of the equation of that. So as a mentee, I was able to walk along somebody who was from Ohio, who was a organization that was really had a lot going on, but he was willing to take the time to be able to sow into me as I was kind of going through different things through the course and beyond, perhaps. And really, something that was unique was was really in the sales side of things. I run HR. So he was able to talk to me about HR related things, just asking me what we do in our company. And I was able to ask him about the sales side of things and what they do. So we were both actually gleaning from each other. This year, I've been able to come alongside Keith and to see him on his journey. And it has really been a gift to see in these short months just who he's becoming as a leader. And I know that Stolf, the company that he works for, is all the better for them sewing into him. And it's really about having regular contact. We talk about every 2 weeks. We talk and check up on any number of things. A lot of it's related to the topics that we're doing in the sessions, the monthly sessions, but also a lot of it's maybe life or things related to current things that he's involved with that he might have questions on or want to learn more about, or I'll just offer advice on. Sometimes he may not want that, but it is a part of being a mentor. So the mentorship program, again, sets us apart. And if you're or somebody in your organization takes part in it, I think this will be a key piece to the program. So appreciate that, Bill.
Yeah, and thanks, Chris. Well said. And so obviously, each mentee and mentor will create a meeting cadence that works for them. We recommend monthly or biweekly meetings, 30 minutes at a time. Doesn't have to be real long, just touching base. And then helping to emphasize the lessons learned at each monthly session with the group. And so it just creates, again, this continuity of leadership topics and keeps everything in front of mind to help you as a leader to focus on the things that you want to strengthen. And then on top of that, we actually have a professional coach that works with you one-on-one and in a group coaching session. We work with Donna Gilligan, and again, a professional executive coach who comes alongside you and helps you to recognize your DISC style. If you're familiar with DISC, there's a DISC assessment that you take as a participant. And then they'll break down, what your leadership tendencies tend to be, and then how can you work well with others of other, personality styles. And then online today actually is Keith Glody, who Chris mentioned he mentored, and Keith is in the program right now. And I invited him on the program to share a little bit about his experience being coached and what it's like working with Donna. Keith, would you like to share a few words on that?
Yeah, absolutely. Hello, everyone. Pleasure to be here. And I'm going to say the mentorship is definitely one of the best parts of the program. I'm not just saying that because my mentor is actually here, but I could use the bonus points all the time. But no, we have some great conversations, and we've been able to help each other out, and I enjoy that. It's one of the best parts of the program. As far as the coaching goes with Donna, so Donna's a great resource when you want to just talk one-on-one about, say, a problem you're having. So, for example, I was having some issues with receiving feedback from fellow employees on something I was working on that I really needed that on. So we were able to just sit and discuss different things and how I was going about it. And she actually gave me a couple suggestions, communication, maybe instead of emailing, trying chat or trying to get everybody together as a group. And that was actually the one that worked the best is, bringing everybody together. It was a time saver for me instead of going out one at a time. And then the DISC assessment, in the beginning, I've never done that before, so that was interesting. Mine actually came back kind of where I thought it would. And we actually, with my mentor, Chris, we actually go back to this, I'd say fairly often, maybe not every single meeting, but almost every single meeting. And just an example of how I'm going to use it is I have some training coming up that I have to schedule, and it's going to be with different people. So it'll be with salesmen, with engineers on the calls, and a bunch of other people. So I have to kind of try to tailor the training to a bunch of different people and hopefully, achieve that for everyone. I would also say too that we have a small group, which is nice. So our group is 6 people right now. So if you're afraid of talking in front of a large group, you don't have to worry about that. You can feel comfortable and you can easily talk to everybody. And we are in the process of building better relationships, but we're definitely, I've seen the growth from when we first started to where we are now. Bill and Chris will probably say sometimes at the meetings, it's hard to get us to talk a little bit, but once we get going, then it's hard to get us to stop. But you build these relationships with people and you're able to have conversations and you could speak freely. And as Bill said, you're talking not to a competitor. You're just talking and saying, hey, how do you do this? And, can you help? So we've exchanged information I've reached out to people about marketing things where I don't know anything about that, but one of the teammates is in marketing. So I was able to just reach out to them and they actually put me in contact with some other people at their organization. And I've done the same for others too, where we were at UID, which we'll be discussing later on. but we were talking about issues with shipping and freight companies, damaged shipments, and I was able to put that person in contact with my operations manager who was actually at UID, and we were able to share some of our best practices with them.
Yeah, thanks, Keith. That's powerful. And I would like to just emphasize, so we do keep the group small. We don't intend to enroll more than 10 students this year. So we want to keep the group small. We want to keep it focused and intimate, and we want you guys to become close through the experience. So the goal is not to have 100 people attend the class. We're going to keep it small and keep it focused. Great. So you might be curious what leadership topics specifically we focus on. Obviously, communications is a vital part of the program, and we break it down into presenting to executives because the further you progress in your career, the more you're going to need to learn how to be clear and concise in your communications with very busy executives, and we want to equip you with that. We talk about executive communications and how you communicate through email and other forms to be, again, efficient and succinct. We talk about the difference between leadership versus management, talk about business ethics, how you live in the gray area where there's not just black and white decisions. You have to, make a decision that's maybe a little bit less obvious, and how you use your morals to guide you through those tough times. Psychological safety, a big thing that Donna likes to teach, is how you create an environment where everybody feels safe to share ideas, and just how collaborative and powerful that can be. We talk about brave communication, teams and teamwork, and also a little financial literacy, because again, as you advance your career, you need to learn how to read a balance sheet, read P&Ls. So I wanted Keith to say a few words about this too, just on his experience so far with the various topics.
So in the presenting to executives in our group, we actually had to make a fake presentation and give it to the group, and then we received feedback from that. And I've actually taken that feedback that I've learned, and I'm using it as I'm now having to reach out to executives here. I wrote something that was very paragraphed and not broken out, and I learned that some of the things I could have done was maybe bold some topics to get people to really grab their eyes there, and make things a little bit shorter. I tend to have run-on sentences, as you probably are hearing me go now. So I just actually last week reached out to an executive who was actually somebody that I actually made contact with at one of our industry summits, and I wrote an email about a training that I'd like to perform for him, and it was Bill will be happy. It was 114 words.
Hey, good job.
Thank you. And but it just basically got the point across, I thought, very clear and concise. And I said, who should attend it? When is it going to be? What are some of the options they had for topics that I can train on? And then the time commitment that would be needed by their company. Another thing that I've used is, being comfortable with, I guess, when you don't want to have that conversation, so difficult conversations.
Mm.
And I had an employee here that we were friends, and I just noticed that our relationship started to kind of get a little strained. And normally I would just let those things go and just say it'll work itself out eventually. But this time I kind of said, you know what, let's have a meeting. I just pulled him aside and said, hey, I feel that there's something going on here. We're still kind of working through it right now, actually, because it's a pretty recent thing. But the relationship definitely got better from that. And again, that's something that I probably normally wouldn't have done. I would have just let it kind of try to work itself out, or say, don't worry about it. But from going to the classes and learning about some of the positive things that you can do and ways to approach it, it was very helpful.
Yeah, excellent. Thanks for sharing that, Keith. Really appreciate it. All right, so let's talk about this University of Innovative Distribution. So UID, you'll hear the acronym over and over again. Really what this is, it's really world-class curriculum on distribution topics, but not just how you ship products. It's everything that goes into the business of distribution. It's sponsored by the AEA, which is a collection of associations that deal in distribution of wholesale goods. And it's sponsored in part by Purdue University. So it's backed by world-class professors, and it's literally hundreds of classes, various tracks you can take over a 1-week period And we recommend a certain track for you, 4 to 6 classes that are mandatory as part of our program. And then you have the freedom to pick some electives. So you can do anything from financial classes, HR classes, keynote speakers, just motivational stuff, sales, improving profits, and so on. It's like a course catalog at any college. And you'll really enjoy looking through some of those topics and finding one that fits you. But again, it's this week-long immersive program. You actually go to Indianapolis, you stay at the JW Marriott there, and spend some time with your colleagues in the course and other colleagues from throughout the industry. And you're going to learn all these topics. So again, it's really a great value. And in our experience so far, each of the FLM classes has really grown close together during this event and comes away saying it was like drinking from a fire hose. There's so much good content there. And I'm so excited that as some of you register to be in the FLM program, you're going to be exposed to this. It's really great. So there's the UID. And then finally, the industry summit, you're going to attend this twice, once at the beginning of the program, once at the end as you graduate. And it really is an amazing event. We always have inspirational keynote speakers. We share industry trends. So, again, if you're kind of on the outskirts or don't daily look at the industry data, it's something you'll get more familiar with attending these summits. You're going to learn best practices. We have like panels of association member companies sitting up there talking about, ERP systems and things they do to streamline inventory and you name it. But things that you do every day in your day jobs are going to be discussed, and you're going to learn some tips and tricks at the summit. Share economic data, and of course, there's networking. If FPDA has a specific brand that sets us apart, it's leadership training, one, and having fun, which is the second. And we really do have fun. And we've got this great network of people that loves coming together once a year or twice a year, if possible. And we have a great time. You see there in the bottom, we built bikes for charity one year. We built water filters. We do something every year that's a great culture building and team building event. So it's a really exciting time. And of course, this year is in Coronado Bay in San Diego. The Lowe's resorts are very well maintained, always a beautiful venue. It's literally on like a little island, and it's just a beautiful place where the weather is always amazing, and we're really excited about it. And then finally, the FLM program culminates in this capstone project where you're actually going to be responsible as a team for planning a social event at the start of the industry summit in October 25. So this year's networking event the team came up with is an amazing race style event, and it's going to be really fun. I'm so excited about the early plans I've seen and heard, and it's just a way for you guys to apply everything that you learn in the FLM program and bring it to fruition in something that's really fun for everybody to experience. So just know that everything that you do in the FLM program is benefiting you personally, and then you get to demonstrate the skills you learned through the networking event at Summit. So it's really fun. All right, costs and dates. The cost is $5,400 per student if your company does not provide a mentor. We're incentivizing you to provide a mentor with the program because, again, if we have 10 students participating, we need 10 mentors. And since we're pairing you up with another company, we'd like for you to have a mentor that we can pair with a mentee from another company. So if you do that, if your company provides a mentor, then the cost per student is only $4,900. And really, when you consider the cost of 2 summit attendances and registration for your ID and the professional coaching, you're money ahead on this program without question. Registration is open now. You can go to the FPDA website, go to fpda.org, and if you go to member services and go to Future Leaders in Motion, you'll see a page similar to what's shown in the screen here. You just click on that Future Leaders program link, and you'll have an application available there. There's also a mentor application there. So if somebody from your company, maybe your direct supervisor or somebody you know is willing to serve, they can fill out that form there too and apply. And then there's also an FLM information sheet that you can download and print. And maybe you're not the person that's going to attend. Maybe you want to give it to somebody else on your team. You can print it, give it to them. But all the program details are there available online, and you can check that out. Registration is open now, and we'll run that through August. So the deadline really is September 1st. and we'd like to get registrations done as quickly as possible. Once we hit that 10-member limit, we're gonna cut off registration. So don't delay. We covered a lot of content in a quick short amount of time here. If you have any questions, you can certainly contact us, info@fpda.org. If you're on the phone right now and you're willing to sponsor the FLM class, certainly connect with Lori Mason at lmason@fpda.org. And then generally speaking, if you have any other questions, I'd love to field those now if you're willing to ask them. We've got the great panel on us right now, so we can answer anything you ask. So why don't we open up for questions? Can we unmute folks and let them ask questions if they have them? I'm gonna go ahead and end the slideshow. So
I have a question. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was muted. Sorry, I had muted myself.
Yeah.
So
Hi.
for the 10 participants, is that a combination of mentor and mentees, or is it 10 each?
It's
for
just
clarification.
mentees.
Oh, okay.
So-
Gotcha.
Yeah. So we'll have 10 people actually in the course as FLM students. Yeah.
Okay.
Great question.
Is the start of the program in October when you go to California, or are you going to have classes ahead of time online?
Yeah, another great
Okay.
question. We actually do typically have some work to do just before the summit in October. So in September, you'll be contacted, once you're registered, you'll be contacted to fill out the DISC assessment. And usually that's done in the month of September so that the assessment is complete and ready to give to you when you're on the ground there in San Diego. But the bulk of the work starts at the summit. You actually spend about 5 hours with Donna the first day while you're in San Diego, learning the core leadership skills, building a foundation for the future classes, and a lot of that time spent on the DISC assessment and just helping you understand that personality profile. Yeah, great question.
Thank you.
Absolutely. What else we got? All right. Well, if you do have, oh, did somebody speak?
I
Yeah,
was
I
going to-
understand you do go to the UID.
Yeah.
When is that?
Yeah, that's in March.
Or-
I don't know if they've announced the dates yet, but usually the first or second week of March.
Yeah, usually the second week.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's one more.
Actually, I have another question. So does
Yeah.
the registration fee, I've got the differences in dollar amounts depending on whether your company provides a mentor. Does
Yep.
that cover all of it, including the UID? Like the
It
full
does.
the full course. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, just to be clear, it includes all the sessions. It includes attendance to 2 summits and attendance to UID. The only thing that's not covered is like your travel expenses, right? Your flights, food, meals, hotels. So you're responsible for those things. But
Okay.
the curriculum, the classes, the registrations are all covered.
Okay. Thank you.
You bet. Yeah, last call for questions. Anybody have one more?
If 10 people are signed up and you have to close the registration, does it reopen again like for the following year of October 20?
Yeah, absolutely. So
25? Okay.
we'll do this annually where we'll have a presentation in June to provide information about the next upcoming class. And so we'll open registration annually. And again, it's it's a 13-month cycle, so October to October, but we'll do this every June to announce a new class. If we do exceed the numbers, like where we've got a ton of numbers, we'll talk about it. Maybe we need to do something to create 2 cohorts, but again, the goal is to try to keep the classes small so that we keep things intimate. We don't want to have a big huge class.
Thank you.
Yeah, excellent. Well, thank you for being such an engaged audience. Really appreciate it. And it really is important to us that we answer all your questions. So if you weren't able to answer a question, please submit it to that info@fpda link. I'm going to also display my contact information. So if you do want to reach out to me directly with a question, feel free to do so. And then also connect with us on social media. So you can follow us on LinkedIn. We have a Facebook page. We're also on X. And then we have a YouTube channel as well. And if you do need to get a hold of me, my number is 952-334-6043. And love to field any questions you have. So thank you so much. Really appreciate your time. And everybody have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.